Who's funding MAGA, the shady billionaires behind white supremacy? All right, let's cut through the noise. If you've ever wondered why MAGA keeps thriving despite scandal after scandal, it's because the movement is not just about politics, it's a business, and a shady one at that. A well-funded, well-oiled machine that thrives on outrage, fear, and a carefully crafted pipeline of money that flows straight from the pockets of billionaires into the hands of extremists. And right at the heart of it, the usual suspects: Trump, Steve Bannon, and a handful of ultra-rich backers who don't just tolerate white supremacists in their movement, but actively cultivate them. This isn't just a fringe problem, it's baked into the foundation. Steve Bannon and the business of extremism. If Trump is the showman, then Steve Bannon is the mastermind behind the curtain. This guy isn't just some political strategist, he's an ideological gatekeeper of modern far-right movements. Remember when he ran Breitbart? That wasn't just some conservative news site. It was a propaganda machine, a recruiting ground for white nationalists who needed a more mainstream home after the internet cracked down on their Nazi forums. Bannon openly called it the platform for the alt-right. He knew exactly what he was doing: building an army. And he didn't stop there. After getting booted from the White House, Bannon went global, cozying up to far-right European leaders, feeding them the same anti-immigrant nationalist rhetoric that worked so well in the US. He even tried to set up a far-right training academy in Italy, basically a Hogwarts for white nationalists. But let's be clear, Bannon's biggest talent isn't ideology, it's grifting. This is the same guy who scammed MAGA believers with the fake "We Build the Wall" fundraiser, pocketing millions before getting caught. Trump, of course, pardoned him, because in this world, the grifters protect each other. Here's how white supremacists fund MAGA. MAGA was never just about making America great. It's about making sure a specific version of America survives, one where power stays in the hands of white conservatives at any cost. That's why you see the same rhetoric over and over: fear of immigrants, fear of losing the country, fear of anything that challenges the status quo. That's also why white supremacists love MAGA. It gives them political cover. They don't need to wear hoods anymore when they can show up in polos and khakis, chant about Jews not replacing us, and still get people defending them as very fine people. And the money keeps the cycle going. The donors behind MAGA aren't just picking random fights for fun. They're investing in an ideology that keeps them at the top, financially, socially, and politically. So who's keeping the machine running? Who's making sure that no matter how many scandals pile up, the movement never really dies? First, we've got Robert and Rebecca Mercer, hedge fund billionaires who basically built the modern MAGA movement. They bankrolled Trump's 2016 campaign, funded Breitbart, and poured millions into Cambridge Analytica, the shady data mining company that used psychological warfare to manipulate voters. Then there's Peter Thiel, the tech billionaire who helped create PayPal and was an early investor in Facebook. He spent millions propping up MAGA candidates and, more disturbingly, has been linked to funding race science research. That's right, dude's literally giving money to studies that try to prove some races are superior to others. And of course, we can't forget Rupert Murdoch, the man behind Fox News. He doesn't have to give directly to MAGA because his entire media empire does the work for him, pushing the Great Replacement conspiracy theory and feeding the audience a steady diet of fear, paranoia, and manufactured outrage. Then there's Elon Musk. Now, is he cutting checks to white nationalist groups? No. But since taking over Twitter, now X, hate speech has exploded on the platform. Musk has actively reinstated banned white supremacist accounts, amplified far-right conspiracy theories, and let his platform become a megaphone for extremism. When you give these people a space to operate and grow, you are a part of the problem. Let's not forget Nick Fuentes, a self-proclaimed white nationalist, didn't just attend the Charlottesville rally, he led chants like "You will not replace us." making his stance crystal clear. Fast forward to the Capitol riot, Fuentes wasn't a bystander. He actively encouraged the mob, urging them to keep moving towards the Capitol. And in 2022, he dined with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, signaling a troubling level of acceptance. Then there's Paul Gosar and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Gosar not only spoke at the America First Political Action Conference AFPAC organized by Fuentes, but also posed for photos with him, lending legitimacy to his extremist views. Greene, on the other hand, addressed the same conference, receiving applause from a crowd known for white nationalist sympathies. And let's not forget Stephen Miller. As an advisor in Trump's administration, he was the architect behind some of the most stringent anti-immigration policies, including the zero-tolerance family separation policy at the border. His emails revealed a consistent promotion of white nationalist literature and talking points, underscoring his deep-seated beliefs. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a broader pattern where key figures openly associate with, endorse, or implement policies aligned with white nationalist ideologies. It's a stark reminder of the pervasive influence of such beliefs in certain political circles. There's Darren Beattie. This former Trump speechwriter, fired in 2018 for attending a white nationalist conference, is now back as the acting undersecretary for public diplomacy and public affairs. Beattie has a history of inflammatory remarks, including a 2024 post where he stated, "Competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work." His appointment has drawn criticism from various groups, including the Anti-Defamation League, which argues that he does not represent American values. And then there's Kanye West. Yeah, the guy who once said wearing a Maga hat made him feel like Superman. He didn't just stop at fashion statements. He took his support to disturbing levels. Recently, he went out a vile anti-Semitic rant declaring, "I love Hitler and I am a Nazi." This isn't just talk, it's dangerous rhetoric that fuels hate. And yet, he still has a massive platform on X, formerly Twitter, thanks to Elon Musk's hands-off approach. Silence is complicity, and giving him a megaphone makes it even worse. And that's the thing. MAGA's white supremacist problem isn't an accident. It's not some fringe group misinterpreting the message. It's the whole damn business model. The movement thrives on division. It feeds off people's fears, turns them against their neighbors, and convinces them that they're part of a life-or-death struggle against enemies who don't actually exist. And as long as billionaires keep cutting checks and media outlets keep selling the rage, this cycle will continue. The small-dollar donors sending their paychecks to Trump, the random guys wearing MAGA hats at rallies, they're the foot soldiers. But the real power is with the billionaires pulling the strings. What can be done about it? The best way to fight this is with sunlight. Yeah, I'm talking vitamin D. Democracy. These connections need to be exposed. These connections need to be exposed. The donors, the enablers, the people writing the checks, they can't hide behind their wealth and influence forever. But it's not just about calling them out. If you want to break the cycle, cut off the funding. Support legislation that demands transparency in political donations. Push for stronger regulations on social media platforms that enable extremist content. Follow watchdog groups tracking white supremacist networks and share their work. Most importantly, vote with your money. Every time you see a brand or corporation quietly funding these movements, make it known. Public pressure works. Just look at how quickly companies backed away from Elon Musk's X when advertisers started pulling out. And beyond that, we have to change the narrative. MAGA survives because it keeps people scared and distracted. The more people see that this movement isn't about populism, but power and money, the harder it becomes for them to sell the lie. This isn't just about calling out MAGA. It's about following the money. understanding the system and refusing to let them pretend they don't know exactly what they're doing. Stay loud, stay informed, and don't let these asshats get away with it. So, there you have it. The MAGA machine isn't just about politics. It's about power, money, and keeping the status quo intact. And as long as billionaires keep writing the checks, the movement will keep going. Stay informed, call out the enablers, and cut off the funding where you can. If we shine enough light on this, they won't be able to hide forever. I've included some links below to resources that track these networks and fight back against extremism. Check them out, do your own research, and keep pushing for accountability. Like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. More content coming your way. Stay loud, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.